So what customer is the best customer to have in your detailing business? Is it really having the rich customers or customers with high-end vehicles? So in this video, I'll break down why you need to understand what's the best customer for you and how that can impact your business. So last week we worked on a Volvo V70 for a one-step polish and a headlight restoration. In total, it was, I believe, $600. It was $500 for the one-step polish, and then I think $120 actually for the headlight restoration. And as we were working on the vehicle and talking with the customer, it kind of made me realize the importance of having the best customer in your business. And when I mean best customer, I just mean like what's the best customer for your business, right? Because every business will be different in terms of the type of people that they attract to their business and who you typically do business with, right? And it's just gonna depend on your market, your business, how you communicate your services, your pricing, like all these things go into what kind of customers you get into your business. But with this customer, the primary, and not just this customer, but the types of customers that we get are usually the ones that say, hey, I don't care about perfection, I just wanna make it look better. Right? We don't have anyone that's super nitpicky. Well, not that we don't have any, because it's okay if customers are nitpicky because they are paying for paying for your service. And if you are setting yourself up as like a premium service, then you should be able to, offer higher level services than everyone else. So, being picky in itself isn't bad. But more so of like, we hardly ever have anyone that looks for perfection or that wants to pay for perfection or that wants to go and take their vehicle to a car show or to like garage clean it. Like that's just not the type of customers that we have. Not that that's wrong, not that there's one good or bad. It's just what's best fits your business and what kind of customers do you want to work with on a daily basis. So for one detailer, it might be that they primarily focus on interior cleanings. And they'll do the paint correction, the washing, but they primarily focus on interiors, right? So that's gonna be a different type of customer and business than someone that primarily focuses on paint correction and ceramic coatings, right? Which is gonna be different than someone that offers just a more of a maintenance style car wash and detail to 10 customers per day. So every type of business, depending on the type of services that you offer, will attract a different type of clientele to your operation. And again, I don't want to say that there's one that's better than the other because it really just comes down to your business, right? Now there are a few kind of, I don't know if you call them myths or misconceptions, but there are some things that I see quite frequently that I myself wholly disagree with, just because I've seen it in our own business and it doesn't pan out the way some people think it's going to be. So for instance, when it comes to dealing with maybe high-end vehicles or high-end or more of the rich customers, a lot of times detailers think that, hey, if I just get into this affluent area, right? If I get to this wealthy neighborhood, if I get these rich clients, then my business is gonna take off because I'm gonna be able to charge them whatever. I can do the paint corrections, ceramic coatings, and I can sell the $1,000 to $2,000 correction and coating services. I can do PPF and tint, and I can sell all this for like $2,000, $3,000. And although yes, if you just want to kind of paint things black and white, working in a more affluent area, there's going to be more disposable income. But when it comes to actually selling your services and building a business, you can't correlate just high-end vehicles or rich customers, whatever that means, but rich customers to success, right? Because again, the whatever you want to call it, misconception, the myth, the whatever, is that, man, if I can deal with the rich customers, if I get in the wealthy area, if I get in the affluent area, then man, it'd be so much more easier to get customers. It'd be so much more easier to sell high-ticket items. And the reality is, it's not really that. It doesn't really work that way, right? Just because someone owns a high-end vehicle, whatever high-end vehicle means to you, it's gonna mean, it's different for everyone. And when I mean high-end, I don't necessarily mean like exotic. I just mean like something that's more in the luxury price range than what most people would afford, right? So if someone owns a nice car, that doesn't necessarily mean that they care about the paint work, that they care about the interior, that they care about maintaining the appearance of it. Like, yes, it looks great, but like, do they really care if there's swirls in the paintwork? Do they care if there is a ceramic coating on the paint? Do they care if their wheels are protected and coated? Like, not really. You know, like that's not something that's like a priority to them. Even if they own a nice vehicle, that's not something that they're really focused on. I mean, you've seen it time and time again, whether it's in person or on Instagram or on YouTube, where you have people with Porsches, Lambos, GTRs, and they drive them through the self-serve car wash, or maybe they're using just like they're running it through like a cheap car wash. And it's like, you would think if they have a nice vehicle and they spent all this money on modding it or just purchasing it, you would think they would have the whereabouts to say, hey, where should I take my car to get it properly washed? But the reality is, most likely than not, they just don't care about that. Like, that's not at the top of their scale. And even if they were introduced to the proper ways, or they found a detailer that does it properly, a big majority of those wouldn't care anyways, because it's not a priority to them. So the thought of like, hey, if they're rich, if they're wealthy, if they're high-end vehicle, oh, life is so much easier. Oh, it's so much easier to do everything. It's like, no, it's not always like that. Again, just talking black and white, sure, they have more disposable income, but again, that doesn't make that individual person any better at talking with you, or that doesn't make them any better of a nicer human being just because they have a high-end vehicle, or that they're coming from a wealthy, you know, neighborhood. Like, there's no correlation between those two things, right? Because your primary focus of, again, it just depends on your business, but I guess across the board, what you're looking for is someone that values their vehicle and willing to pay top dollar for a reputable detailer to take care of it. So for instance, like with this Volvo, or with many of our customers, right? Like, you wouldn't consider them rich. They're not high-end vehicles, but yet they're willing to pay a premium rate relative to our area, right? If you're in California, New York, Chicago, like the prices are gonna differ, right? 400 might be super expensive, 400 might be super cheap, depending on where you are and what you do. But relative to our area and our pricing, we are more on the higher end of the price range. And yet, you know, we have plenty of customers that, by most people's definitions of what I see on the comment section, they're not rich. They don't have high-end vehicles. They don't have anything, you know, super crazy, but they're still willing to spend $400, $600, $800, $1,200, $1,800 on their vehicles. My voice is cracked, because they want it done properly. Often, but I have heard it a few times, where a detailer might say, I have very picky customers, but I kind of like that because it makes me a better detailer. And again, I'm not here to judge your business. You can run it however you want. But to us, we don't have like super picky customers to the point where like we're spending a lot of extra time every single time because the customer is demanding all these little things being taken care of. Again, I'm not saying that a customer can't go and like look around the vehicle and inspect the interior or exterior and point out things that we may have missed. Like, not that. That's absolutely fine. But to the detailers that I have talked to, or that I've seen the conversations, it's like they are more of the high end side, as what people would say. And the customers are indeed like very, very nitpicky, almost to the point where it's like, hey, I'm that guy. I'm more of the affluent kind, so you need to go and do all these things because I'm paying you for it. So it's a bit more of like a, I don't know the right term for it, but it's like, it's kind of in a different dynamic of like, hey, I'm more of the affluent. I do have the nicer vehicles, and they're kind of owning up to that. And it's like, you know, I myself would never want that kind of customer, right? Just because that's just not the type of, one, I don't care about having high-end vehicles. I don't care about working on the Ferraris or the Lambos or the Porsches. Even though we do have vehicles like that, it's not like something that I aspire to do, because that's just not something that means much to me as far as the type of vehicles that I work on. But when I hear things like that, it's like, man, like I myself would not feel comfortable, nor would I like to work around clients that are like that, even though that they have the nice vehicles and are paying top dollar. I personally would not like to put up with things like that. And again, it's just like really self-audit like your business, your customers, what you're doing, and say like, yeah, it's nice that we're doing this or doing that, but is it worth, you know, X, Y, Z? Because for you, it might be, right? I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying, like, to me, when I hear things like that, I'm like, that's to me, that's kind of like a red flag. And it just comes down to like, what kind of business you want, what kind of customers do you want, right? Like, and not just detailing, but like when you go to other restaurants or salons or barbers or whatever, literally any other business, you can kind of see the type of customers that are there based on the business, based on the employees, based on the area, based on their marketing, based on their website. It attracts a certain type of clientele, customers, what have you. And it's like, it's like for us, it's like we have a very clear, you know, idea of like who our ideal customer is. Who's the one that like, okay, like, yeah, they're not looking for perfection, they're not rich, they're not wealthy, it's not a high-end vehicle, but they just like, if it's, if we're doing paint correction and ceramic coating, they want to take it from a 4 to a 7 or 8, right? They don't care about getting it to a 9 or 10. Or on the interior, they don't care that, hey, like, oh, the every little last thing didn't come out, or like, we know the type of customer that we want. It's really important for you to understand what kind of customers do you want in your business, right? Because if you go down the wrong path, like, you could just keep on taking these wrong paths, like, further and further, and you'll end up in a spot where, like, you're not happy with the customers, they're not happy, like, you're not happy with the services that you're offering, and then at the end of it, you're not in a good spot. So the big takeaway on this video, I would say, is don't worry about if it's high-end or not, if it's affluent or not. It's like, you need to find people that want services that you offer, which regardless if you're doing a correction and coating, you focus on interiors, or you're focusing on fleet washing, they want someone that does quality work, that's reputable, that's professional, and that generally cares about what they do, right? So those are like the main core things I would look at, and based on your business, on your area, you will fit that contextually to your specific needs or your specific business. But I'd say that's more important. Those key factors are more important than saying, oh, is that a high-end vehicle though? Oh, great, bring it in. Oh, but he's coming from a wealthy area. Oh, hey, come on in. Like, those are completely different things that you need to look at in your business. So I'll end it right here. Hopefully you took something away that helps you in your detailing business. You can check the description box down below for the ultimate guide to start your detailing business. There's over 10,000 words in that thing. You can check my second YouTube channel, the Proper Care channel, or if you want to listen to my podcast where I talk about everything business related, like sales, operations, marketing, hiring, and things of that nature, you can check it down below as well. It's the Detailing Business Class Podcast. Other than that, I'll talk to everyone on the next one. Bye-bye.